Terrence, obviously Matt got a little hot there late in the game. What does he give you when you guys are struggling offensively?
Well, we know Matt's one of our best scorers, and we just try to get him shots. But I feel like it gives everyone else energy when someone's struggling. And with our team, you never know who night it can be. And I'm just happy for Matt. He's been working so hard, getting his body right and conditioning, and he performed well today.
Matt, you kind of came in with 10 minutes left after being out. What was kind of your mindset when you were going in and before you went on that run there in the second half?
I was not happy at all, like, that we were down 3 to a team like that. It wasn't funny to me at all, and people were laughing, and I just came in, and I was pretty upset in the huddle, and I let everybody know, and I just tried to play as hard as I could, and that was about it.
Was that like a moment of, I don't want to say finding your voice on a new team, but kind of stepping into one of those leadership roles that Coach talked about a week ago?
Who knows, man? I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just trying to play hard, and I've done this stuff with my body the last 3 games. It's been helping me a lot, and that's really what I'm going to credit to more than anything else. But, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
For both of you guys, what did you just kind of see going wrong during that 8+ minute scoring drought? Matt, you mentioned what you saw, but Terrence, what did you see during that stretch?
We just gotta make shots. That's all it is. We just gotta make shots and execute more on offense and get stops. We can't go without scoring and not getting stops at the same time. We got to do one or the other. And I feel like we picked up on it in the second half.
I guess for both of you then, in that last 10 minutes, what did the team maybe do better defensively to get some of those stops and maybe lead to some easier buckets?
I think we were just a little bit more motivated maybe. We had a pretty intense huddle at that 10-minute mark, and I think people were just ready to go. I really don't know.
Jeremy?
Matt, these are 2 games where I don't think you guys feel good about your effort. What's this time mean for this team? Like, what's this team at right now?
I'm the wrong guy to ask about that because I really have my own opinions about this that I would not be saying up here on this podium. I think we got a lot to figure out internally between the players and the coaches. So I think it's going to be something that we're going to have to figure out in practice.
What was just Coach Underwood's message to you guys after this?
Just that, like, so we've been having really hard practices the last 2 days, and I was voicing how I was upset about that, and then he was, saying how, how we're worried about the wrong things, being worried about practice and our bodies and stuff, but he's seen what we can do, and he's just trying to push us, and he knows that, he knows we're going to beat Alabama A&M, like. I was upset because I was saying, like, that was too much. But he was saying, do you really think that I'm, worried about Alabama A&M? I'm trying to push y'all for stuff in the future. So, I guess that makes sense to me. So, yeah.
I guess for both of you guys, I know, Matt, you kind of talked about wanting to kind of figure things out with the team, the coaching staff. And you do that over the next 2 ways. What's kind of your process to that situation, if that makes sense?
For me, it's just my own personal stuff, like getting enough sleep, working on my body. We put in a new offense recently, so I think really it's just for me personally, it's just gonna come down to managing my body because it's given me a lot of problems through my career. So yeah.
Eric?
Terrence, what's your take on what's going on internally? And you've been tabbed as a leader. What's your vantage point, and what are you seeing there?
Like Matt said, it's just something we gotta figure out as a team, and once we figure it out internally, then I'll be ready to talk about it.
Right here, front. Joey.
I mean, for either of you, is it fair to say like this is like a crossroads moment? Am I reading that correctly, or is there be a better description?
No, home ones it sound like a sad press conference. We're good. We're happy. We won the game. It's stuff we can fix, obviously, but once again, we're a team, and we know we can be one of the best teams in the country. We just gotta live up to it and play better. That's all that is. It ain't like no crossroads or everybody down, or it ain't nothing like that. We just gotta put some things together and correct some mistakes that we make and go on a run.
Yeah, I think the team as a whole is going to be fine. I'm upset. So, yeah, I think I'm bringing the energy down here.
All right, Matt. Matt, we've asked you this before, but are you still fasting before games? And is there something that you find that works for you now that you've done it like 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, I think where me and Coach Underwood might separate a little bit is I have a lot of stuff wrong with my body that I'm trying to work on, and he is a big, like, everything's mental guy. And I think we're having a miscommunication on that. So, yes, I'm still fasting, and it's been helping me a lot. And I would credit that to why I've been playing better the last 3 games more than any mentality thing, because I'm the same person I was last year.
Defensively, I thought we did some really, really good things today. It was nice to kind of get back and see that, something we've been spending a ton of time on in practice. I thought that we've been working really, really hard on converting from the press into the half court. I thought that was well done. Anytime you hold a team, they were shooting 37% from the 3. Basically took that away from them. That was very nice to see after the Penn State game. Obviously, RJ hadn't practiced for most of the week with shoulder contusion and bruise, and I thought defensively he was outstanding in the first half. And and then it got interesting. We struggled scoring the basketball, so we didn't get in the press. We didn't do anything defensively, and then Matt took it over late and showed what a really good player he is. But I thought Terrence defensively was great. We got him downhill, and all the positives that came with that. So we've been going at it. It's a hard week with finals. It's a hard week. The first time we've had extended practice time in a while. So it's we've got to clean up some things offensively. We got good looks, I thought. We moved the ball in the first half, and then the second half. We had the dry spell, but it's on to the next one, and we'll get a little day off tomorrow, and then start getting ready for bragging rights on Thursday.
All right, questions?
Coach, 27 threes against this team, is that a few too many or about right, or are you happy with that? Or?
No, I think they're one of the poorest teams in the country in terms of giving up threes. And they give up a ton. They get into a lot of rotations. They close the paint. You've got to spray them. We knew that this was going to be a game where there was going to be a lot of those opportunities to shoot threes.
Derek?
Matt voiced some frustration, says you guys have a lot to figure out internally. What are you seeing with what's going on there?
Yeah, and I disagree with that. He's every player. Matt's been in a system for 4 years, and not every player's like him. And I think there's challenges that he has to work through. And being somewhere different. I personally like what I saw. He was pretty good at the end of the game, and so his he needs to be a guy that's a leader. He needs to be a guy that has been there, even though something might be different than the way that he knows. He's a guy that is trying to win. He's a guy that's very competitive, And I'm sure he was frustrated. He picks up a couple early fouls. He's going early. And just kind of, he found a way late, and we saw how talented he truly was. And all he did was really play hard. He played super hard. And so, we get that. Matthew Meyer that hooks it up like that. He doesn't only have a bright future here, he helps us win, but he has a bright future beyond. And all that was Derek, was just him playing really, really hard. So whatever he thinks the issues are, I like pretty much what I saw at the end of the game today.
Larry?
Coach, concerned there in the second half, 8+ minutes without scoring, 16-0 run. It felt like a lot of the guys were just tentative. I mean, on offense, and
there's no doubt.
Had shots and didn't take them in passing. And what concerns that you have at this stage in this game, kind of pivotal, heading into the next week and beyond?
Well, and I think one of the great advantages we have is Coleman at the 5. And Coleman's got to shoot the basketball when he's open and when he's moving it. He can't just be a facilitator. I mean, he turned down layups. It's about getting guys in the right place. Terrence got hurt a little bit in that stretch, and Matt's got a quick third, and Sky's in foul trouble, and guys who are big shot makers for us weren't in the game. And it's a good thing we continue to guard, even though their little guard hit a couple. But we finally got back into our press when we did score, and then we blow it open. But we've got to get, we got to start, hooping again, so to speak.
Scott?
Did you take a different approach today? Just I know the first half you maybe just weren't up and walking the sideline quite as much, and just Tim was doing a lot of instructing.
No, I knew I got a pretty good idea what I'm trying to do, and we've got to continue to grow this basketball team and connect the dots. I think we've proven. I think we've beaten one of the best basketball teams in the country in UCLA, and we had a chance to win against Virginia, and who I think is very good, and yet you got to find that next step, and it's a tough week. It's a hard week with finals, and yet we got to continue to find areas to grow in. And I thought defensively we did that, and now we got to clean some things up offensively.
Andy?
Brad, I know Coleman had a couple buckets late, but with him, what's the key with him with balancing being a serve and also facilitating on offense?
I need him assertive. I just need him to play the game. When Coleman plays the game, he's one of the best players in the country, and that stems. I mean, the same guy who made 5 threes. Why not shoot him when you're open? That's a huge advantage for us. That opens the paint up. That opens up Terrence. That opens up RJ. It opens up Matt when he's shooting the ball. And those are things that we want him to do. He's ultra competitive. He wants to win. He wants to get everybody involved, and you've got to do that in a lot of ways. And we've got to get him where he's. I'd love for him to shoot 5 or 6 threes a game. That means he's open, and he's a really good shooter, and he's got to shoot them.
Tyler?
Yeah, Brad. The word leadership keeps coming up last week, this week. From your standpoint, what are some of the tangible things that you're looking for in practice this week for the Missouri game that would show the leadership that you're looking for from this team?
And I don't think there's a specific thing. I think it's accountability to everybody. Who's holding everybody accountable in all facets. And I don't think that. I thought it was much better today. I thought we got great leadership from a couple of freshmen today, and I thought we got great leadership from Matthew. I mean, Matt got after it in a timeout. I mean, Matt was ranting and raving in a time. I haven't seen that kind of emotion from Matthew Meyer in my time here. And then he just, changes his pulse, and that's the stuff that we have to have. That's leadership, to hold everybody accountable to a certain standard. And it's our saying, everyday guy, show up and do your job every day. And that's when we get to that, we'll be really, really, really good basketball team.
Jeremy? Brad, it seems like every season has a crossroads. Is that hyperbolic for this team right now? Is a really important time to figure out who you are? And
I think going into this, we played 6 of 7 high major games. They've all been big games. There's all been a ton of emotion. I don't want to say it's a trap game, but it's a game that you feel good about. So you push some different buttons. You try to. We had practice time. We had finals. You try to find ways to motivate, find ways to challenge. It's no more than that. It's no more. It's just to find a way to get, Jaden Epps and Sky Clark and those guys to play just a little bit better and push them in practice and demand a little more because we've got practice time. And the same thing with Matthew and the same thing with Coleman and those guys have to be counted on. Terrence responded incredibly. I mean, his defense was phenomenal tonight and his aggressiveness, and that's what we need from him.
Matt and then Doug.
When Matthew comes to you, over here, Brad.
Right here.
When Matthew comes to you about doing the fasting before a game, I think this is the 3rd or 4th game he's done that. What's that process like, whether it's with you or with Fletch or just internally? Hey, I think this will work for me.
I don't worry about that 1 second. That is something that we have a lot of professionals here. They tell me who plays and who doesn't. And when it comes to all of that stuff, that's, maybe there's a reason he's tired. I don't know, or he doesn't. I don't know. But every player's got their own unique pregame deal. I sure don't mess with it. I want him to find a habit and stick to it. And your pregame ritual is your pregame ritual. And if it's shooting 250 shots, or if it's getting a power nap, or if it's listening to music, or whatever it is, you would think, we just want him to stick to it, and he'll handle that with our nutritionist and Fletch and Paul.
Just a quick one. Is RJ Melendez nursing an injury, and how's he feeling after the game?
I haven't talked to him after the game. He was fine to play. It's not an injury. It was just sore. We've done all the scans and all that stuff that we do preventive. He obviously had 8 stitches in his head from the fall, and then he fell on his shoulder. So it's a bruise or whatever it was, but we held him out a few days, and so it's nothing more than that.
Joey?
Brad, I know Matt also mentioned that moment at the 10 timeout where he kind of turned it up a little bit. Can that be something, like, how do you build on that, and is that something that could propel him into that leadership role that we've talked so much about the last week?
We'll see. I hope. I got to find that button. He's been in the system for 4 years. I got to find that button. I know, when he came in here, he was not in good shape. He was, that's been well documented. He hurt his back, and so now it's the, it's still, him adapting to us and what we do, and us still trying to find the right buttons to push. But whatever that button is, now I need to find that one, because that was really, really impressive what he did.
Right.
So, Coach, obviously this game was a game of wild swings, but you guys fought off A&M in that second half. What was the message to the team for you guys?
Yeah, we got better. I just put up our defensive numbers, and those are things we emphasized this week. We'll come back and we'll watch film, and then they have zero idea. Most of these guys have zero idea what bragging rights is, and so we've got to get them right there. We've told them that and talked about that, and we'll continue to evaluate as we move forward and try to get better as we head into Thursday.
Joey?
So just one more with finding the right button. He talked about a communication between the two of you. Like, how do you guys kind of continue that development and find the right footing with one another? Just because, like you said, he'd been in a different place for 4 years.
Yeah, it's just getting to know him, spending time with him, finding out what works in practice, what doesn't, what motivates him, what he likes, and then yet, it's not it's him, he's the one that has to adjust as well, and so that's all part of the transfer process, and it's why it's really hard to transfer. And Matt is a wonderful, wonderful kid and a wonderful human being, and he's got a great heart, and but we'll get there.